Right now at 6, COVID Strike Team. A special team is in Springfield to help with rising COVID-19 cases. Plus, stolen butterfly. A butterfly sculpture made following the Joplin tornado is stolen from a local business. Also, personal touch. We're heading to the Neosho Farmers Market to find out what makes that face-to-face interaction so valuable. And the big debate. As the COVID-19 summer surge prompts new concerns, vaccines and masks remain the focus of nationwide controversy and debate.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
11 people from the Joplin area have now been federally indicted following the discovery of the body of a woman in Mayes County more than a year ago. According to a statement from Clint Johnson, the acting U.S. attorney for the Northern District of Oklahoma, the 11 defendants were allegedly involved in either the kidnapping and resulting death of Jolene Walker Campbell or with threatening witnesses and concealing evidence to cover up their crimes. The 11 people charged are Chloe Stith, David Morris, Brianna Sloan, Morgan Bowman, Sarah Humbard, Megan Dethridge, Ariel Devine, Trey Ackerson, Lane Bronson, Jacob Scribner, and Kimberly Grissom. There are 14 total counts in the indictment, each defendant facing different charges. The charges stem from the discovery of Jolene Campbell's body on July 15th last year in a remote field in Mayes County within the boundaries of the Muskogee Nation. Officials say Campbell's death happened sometime between July 4th and July 5th of last year. At this time, all but 2 of the defendants are in custody or on pretrial release. Jacob Scribner and Kimberly Grissom remain at large. A COVID strike team has arrived in Springfield, Missouri. That's the state's disaster medical assistance team, the one that normally responds to severe weather disasters like tornadoes, but is now offering monoclonal antibody infusions. It's in response to the overwhelming surge of new cases in the state. The treatments are laboratory-produced antibodies intended for moderate cases to keep them from becoming severe. The latest versions of the monoclonal antibodies are not fully FDA approved. They have only been approved for emergency use. A statue honoring a local restaurant owner's grandmother who passed in the Joplin tornado has been stolen. The butterfly statue sat right in front of Stogie's Coney Island in Joplin. The restaurant's manager says the statue was a tribute to her late grandmother who died during the 2011 Joplin tornado. She says the statue has been missing for almost 2 weeks. She's asking the public to help her family locate it.
We noticed it was missing about the second week of July, and my mom was really upset because that was her mom that passed away in the tornado, and and then I waited a couple of days till I posted it. But we've had a really good response from everybody, just sharing it and concerned, and I think it's because it touched so many people's lives.
She says if anyone knows the whereabouts of the statue to contact the restaurant directly and that their goal isn't to get anyone in trouble. They just want to get their butterfly back. Hot, as advertised yesterday, staying hot from what I hear. Nick Kelly joining us.
Not to mention humid too, Chris. Even though temperatures made it into the lower, if not a few mid-90s, it certainly felt like we were close to 100 degrees today. Even though it looks nice, at least we're backing off on the haze as we continue to see the upper ridge build in to prevent any wildfire smoke from working in. And while the upper ridge trying to build in is keeping us mainly dry, there is one little thunderstorm near Otter Creek in Union Center, northwest of Howard as you work in the parts of Elk County. That's the only storm I have on the board for now. We'll still keep an eye on it. I think most of us are dry for this evening, but notice this thin frontal boundary to the north. That might try to play a role in our forecast for tomorrow with maybe some rain chances, but not a washout to break us from the heat and humidity. Speaking of which, we're in the lower 90s now. It feels like close to 100 in many locations, but eventually we will drop off past sunset, but only to 80 by midnight, mid 70s for the overnight, Chris. And as you said, this is going to stick with us for a while. We'll see if any rain chances can give us a break from the heat. We'll break that down here in a bit.
All right, Nick, thank you. Today's sunny weather made for a good day at the farmers market, and that's exactly what plenty of 4-staters were up to in Neosho this morning. There's no shortage of local produce and other foods, locally made crafts and other fun gifts, and even some live music for visitors to enjoy. One of the vendors stepped away from selling fresh baked bread and other treats to tell us what makes meeting prospective customers at the farmers market such a valuable experience.
The best part about markets for me is interactions with the people, and meeting hundreds of new people in a day is it's great. You get to see where they come from, what they're doing, and just have a great conversation is a fun time.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about the Reddings Mill Bread Company, check out this article on KOAMNewsNow.com. The Neosho Farmers Market happens every Saturday from 9 until noon, May through October in downtown Neosho. As the now dominant Delta variant spreads throughout the nation and COVID-19 case numbers spike, the plea for more people to get vaccinated is becoming more urgent. CBS News correspondent Michael George reports from New York.
In Burbank, California, workers are converting a floor of this hospital back into a COVID-19 ward.
In a lot of ways, it's been like going backwards.
Nursing manager Chris Rice says only about 6 weeks ago, the hospital held a celebration because it had 0 COVID patients.
But after the 4th of July, which is when all the family gatherings began to happen and all of the restrictions started to get lifted, it started to get bad again.
Over the past 2 weeks, new cases in the U.S. are up more than 160%, driven by the highly contagious Delta variant.
What's really interesting is this is a new virus. Delta variant is not like the old virus. This can spread outdoors. It can spread remarkably easily. So the same behavior before that you could have done and been safe, you're not safe now.
But just under 50% of Americans are fully vaccinated. Even though he almost died in an Orange County, California ICU, Brian Parisi still says he's not certain he would have been better off getting the vaccine.
I honestly don't know that I would have personally, but I think it's an individual decision.
During the pandemic, this New York City couple decided to postpone their wedding.
In a weird way, it kind of made me know it was real. Because, you know, when you're staying together in the house for an extra 2 years, it just brought us closer.
Now they're among the first to get married in person at New York City's Marriage Bureau following the office's 16-month shutdown. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Take care, guys.
According to the Associated Press, several states, including Florida, Nebraska, Iowa, and South Dakota, scaled back their reporting of COVID-19 statistics from daily to weekly, and that could make it harder for the public to get real-time information on outbreaks, cases, hospitalizations, and deaths. And we take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Boatswain's mate Second Class Gilbert Barnes served in the Navy in Vietnam aboard the USS Kitty Hawk, where he received a number of medals and honors. His hometown, Joplin. And we're proud to recognize Boatswain's mate Second Class Gilbert Barnes, tonight's four-state hero. And of course, remember, learn more about other heroes or nominate one of your own. Just head over to our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. The coffee's okay. Coming up on the KOAM News at 6, why drinking coffee regularly isn't necessarily bad for your heart, and no investigation. Why the DOJ will not open an investigation into the COVID response of state nursing homes in 3 different states. That cup of Joe doesn't skip a beat, and fewer teens are getting the COVID vaccine. Michael George is back and has some of the week's top health stories.
The American Academy of Pediatrics reports a drop in the number of teens receiving the COVID vaccine. The weekly number of first doses fell from a peak of about 1.6 million at the end of May to 315,000 the week ending July 14th. The AAP recommends all eligible adolescents 12 and older get vaccinated. The American Heart Association says babies who are breastfed, even just for a few days, have lower blood pressure as toddlers. Researchers say cardiovascular issues begin to develop in early childhood for some. They believe breastfeeding could result in stronger heart health for adults. And a study in JAMA Internal Medicine found no link between habitual coffee drinking and an increased risk of an irregular heartbeat. In fact, researchers say each additional daily cup of coffee reduced the risk of cardiac arrhythmia 3%. Those are some of the week's top health stories. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Well, Well, the Justice Department will not open a civil investigation into the COVID-19 response in state nursing homes in New York, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. The announcement was made in a letter Friday. Now, previously, the department was looking into whether policies issued during the pandemic requiring COVID-19 patients to be admitted into the facilities may have contributed to deaths. Now, the DOJ says it has decided not to open a Civil Rights of Institutionalized Persons Act investigation in those 3 states. Justice Department confirmed it opened an investigation in October of 2020 into 2 facilities in New Jersey. The announcement prompted swift outrage from Representative Steve Scalise. Other Republicans who have accused New York Governor Andrew Cuomo of covering up COVID-19 related deaths in nursing homes in his state. Cuomo has denied any wrongdoing. And a Florida court has reversed its decision, which allowed the government to implement COVID-19 protocols for the cruise industry. The CDC requires cruise lines to meet certain conditions before they can set sail, including ventilation, social distancing, and testing. Florida initially won when the state went to court to block the CDC protocols, but then a federal appeals court sided with the CDC, leaving the rules in place. Well, now an appeals court has ruled the CDC failed to prove its jurisdiction in the matter. The cruise industry will now be able to resume operations in Florida without adhering to the CDC's COVID-19 protocols, but it's a temporary win for Florida. The court requested the CDC file an appeal to support the agency's argument by September 1st. Turkey saw its daily COVID-19 cases rise to 12,381 on Saturday, a number not seen since mid-May. The health ministry also recorded 58 COVID-related deaths, and hospitalizations are up. Turkey's health minister warned he urged people to follow precautions and get vaccinated. Turkey lifted all COVID restrictions on July 1st. Google Olympics. A little later on the KOAM News at 6, how Google is getting into the Olympic spirit.
But first, even with some rain chances in the forecast, we're wrapping up July next week on a hot and humid note. We'll break down the numbers next.
Black Friday. Joplin, Springfield.
We did not want the heat and humidity to return, but Mother Nature has the ultimate say so. So we definitely went back into the 90s for today, while we kept pretty calm underneath some partly sunny skies. That being said, the resulting heat and humidity that ramped back up has actually resulted in a few little showers out in Greenwood County and kind of a decent little thunderstorm, if you want to call it that, out across northwestern parts of Elk County. In fact, we can zoom in. Before I do, though, everyone else is on the evening out on the dry note, but the only little shower or storm I have on the board is this guy that actually started out near Glencoe on US 400, slowly trekking east, but now the storm is split apart. It's taking a dive close to Howard as it continues to ride paralleling Kansas 99. We'll see how long this can hold on, but in general, I think we're going to be mainly dry for much of this evening. Tomorrow might be a different story, a slightly different story. Back into the lower 90s yesterday. We dropped back into the mid 70s this morning, but like it or not, back into at least the lower 90s for this afternoon, with it feeling like triple digits throughout the afternoon. Even though I am keeping track of some isolated and widely scattered thunderstorm chances into early next week, I don't see any real relief from the summer heat as we wrap up the month next week, along with the humidity. Those will definitely be sticking around and kind of on the high side, which is what we usually expect for the month of July, especially the end of the month. For now, mostly sunny. At least it looks nice from 7th and Range Line. Doesn't feel so nice, though. 91 in Joplin, factor in the dew point at 71, despite the south breeze pushing 10. Feels like 98 at the airport and downtown. Everybody's in the lower 90s, maybe it's a 95 in Chanute, 94 around the Yoda and Yates Center, but you factor in these dew points, these are definitely more familiar. Lower to middle 70s, the soupy air making it feel like we're near the triple digits as we start the evening out. Eventually, though, once we get past sunset, we'll drop back to 80 by midnight and thinking mid 70s for tonight, and that's at least a little bit of a reprieve from the heat for today. But widening the view out, notice the severe thunderstorms around the Great Lakes and a very thin band of broken showers and storms in northern Kansas. That's a frontal boundary that might want to bring some more isolated thunderstorm chances for tomorrow as that front tries to edge closer to us and the weak disturbance rise along the jet. But in general, going into next week, this upper ridge is going to reorganize itself and really assert its dominance on top of us as we go through the final days of July as we go into next week. Overnight though, let's keep an eye out for like that stray thunderstorm near Howard and maybe a few isolated storms in our southern counties. Most of us though will be dry as we drop back into the mid 70s. Fast forward to tomorrow afternoon as that front's nearby with that passing wave upstairs. Can't rule out some widely scattered thunderstorms. These should not be strong, but at their strongest, we certainly can't rule out some pockets of heavy rainfall and maybe some wind gusts as well. But 74 tomorrow to start the morning out, 88 by noon, and highs near 94. And don't forget about the humidity. It's definitely going to feel like the lower triple digits once again, whether or not you see any of these isolated storm chances. 93 Monday with some scattered storms, 94 Tuesday, and hot and humid. It's the name of the game, Chris. Mid to upper 90s Wednesday through Friday. We've been spoiled for much of July, but we're definitely back to familiar territory next week.
Yeah, July was extraordinarily kind to us, and then all of a sudden it just said summer's here.
Summer ain't over.
All right, Nick, thank you so much. Turning to sports, Danny joining us. Kansas Little League State Tournament getting underway.
Yep, 10 and 12U championship games are today. We'll have previews of those coming up. Plus, Chiefs training camp is underway at Missouri Western State University. The details next. It's down to the final two teams in the Kansas Little League State Tournament. The 10U and 12U championship games are set for tonight. Pittsburgh 10U has made it through the tournament without a loss. They face Riverton tonight. Pittsburgh 12U is also undefeated. Their game against Baxter Springs is set for 8 p.m. Both Pittsburgh teams have a chance to win it all tonight, but if they lose, it forces a second game to be played on Monday. We'll have all the latest details right here at 10. It feels like the summer season flew by. The Outlaws play their final regular season game tonight. Joplin is on the road taking on Jefferson City. The Renegades topped the Outlaws 5-2 on Friday, so Joplin is looking for some revenge tonight. First pitch set for 7 p.m. Conference realignment has been a big topic in the college sports world as Texas and Oklahoma are expected to announce their departure from the Big 12, their intended landing spot, the SEC. The Big 12 Conference did hold a call earlier this week to discuss the reports. Texas and Oklahoma representatives did not attend. The implications of such a move would be large, but at this point, it's all speculation. We'll have updates as more sure-footed news is expected to be revealed in the coming days. And we're 50 days away from the Chiefs' first game of the regular season, and things are beginning to kick into high gear. Training camp has begun. The Chiefs return to Missouri Western State University for training camp this year. 30 players, including quarterbacks, rookies, and those returning from injuries, reported to camp this Friday. 3 practices will take place this weekend before the rest of the roster joins on Monday. Here's quarterback Patrick Mahomes on his mindset heading into camp.
I think the best thing about getting to training camp is it all starts over. No matter how you ended the year before, you have to go in with the mindset of starting from scratch. And so we're excited to do that and try to make another run at it. I mean, every single moment you're either meeting, you're working out, you're practicing, you're eating lunch with your teammates. It's just all football. So there's definitely an advantage to that, I think, and it gets you ready for the season of the grind that you're going to have to go through of several months of being day-to-day football and making sure that you're prepared for that.
We'll be right back.
Your Cash and Go Rewards prizes.
Coming up tonight at 10, a butterfly sculpture is stolen from a local business. Now they're asking for your help in bringing the special statue home. Plus, we're taking you to the Neosho Farmers Market and telling you why vendors say it's the personal touch that matters most. And a COVID strike team arrives in Springfield to help with the rising COVID-19 case numbers. Those stories and much more tonight on the KOAM News at 10. Well, let the games begin. Google is getting into the Olympic spirit with a cool new game. On Friday, Google launched Doodle Champion Island Games on its main search page. It includes 7 mini games based on Olympic sports, including table tennis, skateboarding, and archery. Anime scenes and characters were created by animators based in Tokyo. Other elements of the game are based on Japanese folklore. Google's new Doodle game release coincides with Friday's big opening ceremony in Tokyo. Certainly something, Google always has something, interesting, like you can type in do a barrel roll and all sorts of just fun little Easter eggs on that site.
Yeah, like not to mention the special doodles for the Olympics or any special days. Although I do like when you type in, I forgot how you do it, like you try to do like pivot or like the couch thing from Friends. It actually pivots the whole page.
See, now can I do that with you? If I say do a barrel roll, Nick, will you do a barrel roll?
It wouldn't be pretty, but I can do it.
All right, sounds good. We'll have to give that a try. Something that we are definitely going to need to try is to stay inside where it's cool.
Or if you have to be outside, just find ways to stay cool because the heat and humidity is going to stick with us as we wrap up July next week. Even with some thunderstorm chances tomorrow, Monday, and Tuesday, we're going to keep highs in the mid-90s and try to push into the upper 90s by the end of next week.
All right, Nick, thank you. That's our time for now, and thanks for making us part of your night.
Salon service is provided by